Well, good early evening to those of you on the East Coast, a little bit later evening to those of you in the UK, European countries, but it's early afternoon out there on the West Coast. Welcome to another episode of Material Issues. This is episode number 179. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. I'm over here in sunny South Jersey, albeit. I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it albeit or albeit?
Albeit.
Albeit, thank you. Albeit,
not
very cold today.
I'll be sure. That's a different time.
Cold day today. Woke up for 33 degrees, but it got nicer when you stayed in the sunshine. But yeah, I'm Mark Hershberger, Pop Detective Records. Normally I say joining me on that side from the West Coast would be the president of the International Pop Overthrow Festival, Mr. David Bash, but David had a last-second spasm.
Boy, that sounds nice.
It
Wow.
does sound nice. Now he's been struggling with some back issues, and he just wasn't comfortable. And you know how David is. He likes to give 150% to every show, and he just couldn't do it tonight. So we appreciate him.
I think if he went on, he would only been able to give 120% today, and that's
right. So in his stead, who's already earned his 5-time jacket and then his 7-time jacket, and probably we're up to the 10-time jacket, we appreciate to have our good friend, Mr. John Borak, author, musician, actor, comedian, cook, chef, surfer. He's a man of many talents. But John, thanks for being here tonight.
You left out Bon Vivant and Raconteur.
Yeah, it's because I couldn't pronounce either one of those, so I just left them out.
Albeit those were nice things that you said.
I've always wondered about albeit sometimes, but
I'm pretty sure it's albeit, but maybe one of your viewers can chime in with the correct answer.
Yeah, if there's any viewers who are English majors and you know whether it's albeit, albite, albite, I don't know. But it means, what does it mean? It means like even though.
Even though,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So I know the meaning, but I just don't know how to pronounce that one correctly. But
anyway,
hey, we're here.
I'm happy to be here. I'm sorry David couldn't be here. But when I heard he wasn't going to be able to make it, I said, hey, I'll do it. Why not? So.
Well, great. Now we appreciate you popping on. And I'm going to start you off with this fact or this factoid that I saw on the internet the other day, which kind of made me go, But they were saying that per some music industry study, the most intelligent music on the planet is heavy metal music. Tim Allen, good to see you. Yes, and country came in third, and pop music came in dead last of the 5. Now they didn't get into specifics like power pop or some of the microcosm went down, but I mean you would think that power pop, which is kind of our genre that we love of that word, would fall in the pop category, but they were talking mostly lyrics. They weren't really.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking maybe current pop music is what they're talking about.
Probably. But
because,
I kind of
there are no lyrics really.
No.
And the country lyrics these days, they're probably fine if you live in the Midwest. I don't know, Texas, where all my exes live. I don't know. But heavy metal.
Hey, if you can rhyme X's with Texas, you're good in my book.
Yeah. But wow, heavy metal. The lyrics are pretty interesting. I have to say, it's not my top genre of music.
No.
Neither is current country. I like classic country, artists in the 50s, 60s, 70s. But I always say that current country music's like pop music with a banjo or a pedal steel or a fiddle.
Well, true. It's very true. Now, David has always professed to not be a lyrics guy. He listens to strictly the melody or just the overall sound of a record. And if he likes the sound of it, doesn't even have to specifically be the melody. He just likes the way it makes him feel.
Mm-hmm.
I, on the other hand, I mean, I obviously I love the melody and the sound of it, but I really, really dig a good lyric. And some of my favorite artists, like a Frank Hammersland, and everything he's done with the solo working with Popium and Pogo Pops, and for being Norwegian and not having English even as a first language, lyrically he's just wonderful. You know, like Justin Curry and Delamitri, lyrically, they could tell a story with few words. That impresses the heck out of me. And,
one of my favorites who always did that amazingly well was Tom Petty.
Oh yeah,
just some really, really great lyrics, especially on some of his lesser known songs. There's a song called Square One, which is one of his later songs. Just a beautiful, beautiful song. And another one I was listening to the other day came up on my playlist, Only a Broken Heart. It's very, very sad, but very relatable and very poetic lyrics.
Yeah. No, it's I go back a lot to Klaatu, and that's what blew me away by Klaatu originally, was just not only were the songs taking me away, just the sound, but that's when I really started listening to lyrics, and everything they did lyrically was just so well done. And that really does a lot for me, especially if I'm really into the music of something, and I get the album or I get the CD and they have the lyric booklet with it. I just love to follow along and figure out the story a little bit or what they're trying to say. And I don't know, I just I'm that kind of a guy. But getting back to the original thing I said, with heavy metal being the most intelligent, I mean, if you're talking today's pop music, where lyrically there's not much going on, but if you think of pop music in general, and that would include power pop and other subgenres of pop where there's a lot going on lyrically, I mean, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were speaking of maybe the Billboard Top 100 these days.
Yeah,
where there's not much lyrically
all 100
or musically going on. That's of interest to me anyway. I mean, now and then there are a lot of songs that sort of pop up, and I end up putting them on my playlist when I DJ. There's been a lot of good music that's been popular, that's been released in the last 20 years. I don't want to sound like that old man who says, there's been good music since the 70s, damn it. It's not like that. There's been cool stuff. Hey,
I get it.
Outcast was one of my favorites. It's a little older now, but one of my favorite songs. Uptown Funk, I think, was a great song.
Oh, yeah.
So there's stuff that comes up every now and then that I really enjoy, that's popular. But for the most part,
some people don't like the word guilty pleasure, but I'll tell you what, when Livin' La Vida Loca came out, I said to my daughters, that's going to be massive. That's going to be massive. And that's a fun song to sing along to. I mean, I don't care who you are, She's into superstition, black cats and voodoo doll. I mean, rolls,
I always play that when I DJ too, and people love it. And it's funny because now when I DJ, I do a lot of stuff for high schools. I announce football games and do that kind of stuff. So when I play stuff, I can't really play a lot of the newer stuff because of the language.
Exactly.
Because there's families there. But so I play like 80s and 90s, which are oldies to the parents. And it just kind of cracks me up to see people's reaction when I play like Ice Baby. People love it. I actually like that one too. It doesn't bother me at all. I just think it's so dumb. It's funny.
Well, so much of that stuff, whether you liked it initially or not, in hindsight, as you mature and you understand that not everything is for everybody's taste, but you're going to understand why something might have been very popular and for what reason. I mean, at the time when it first came out, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Long live Queen! Screw you, Vanilla Ice!" But now I'm in the same thing, because basketball season starts. I do the PA announcing, but I also do all the music mix, timeouts at halftime and super shootout, everything that we do. And I'm playing. I put on Ice Baby. And look at the entire crowd. They're all going. Even the high school kids, they know it.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Well, high school kids now are a lot more musically savvy than maybe we were in high school as far as, stuff that was older. Because I was announcing a track meet at the high school last year, and the kid came up and I forgot what song it was, but he requested a Blue Oyster Cult song that was not "Don't Fear the Reaper" or "Burning for You," and I'm like, wow, I'm impressed that you know that. That's pretty cool.
yeah,
And he kind of looked at me
yeah,
like he was insulted that I would think that he didn't know any deep Blue Oyster Cult cuts. But
yeah.
yeah, it's funny that there's a lot of this year during the football season, Bill Withers' "Lovely Day." That was one that the
Oh
players
wow.
requested.
One of the
"Ain't No
players
Mountain High
requested
Enough."
that.
"Ain't No Mountain High Enough" was another one that the players requested. But then
That
in between that, you had a whole bunch of really obnoxious, offensive hip hop, which I found clean versions of some of them, but it's not really clean. It's a dirty clean version or something, and
well,
and
the problem that
all that was doing was getting the parents and the grandparents pissed off at me because
well,
one guy turned around at me at the first game because they instructed me, play stuff when the kids are warming up, play stuff to get them hyped up that they want to hear.
right.
And a parent turned around and got really upset. And he said, "Why are you playing this shit? It's awful." And I said, "I agree with you, but I'm not playing it for me, and I'm not playing
Yeah,
it for you. I'm playing it for the
yeah,
kids out in the field. Once it's halftime and breaks during the quarters, yeah, then I'll play different stuff. But right now, it is what it is, sir."
yeah.
You know?
No, I run into that same stuff. I used to be related to the athletic director by marriage, and we're still very good friends. He's the AD that has me do this every year. But as the years have gone on, the team captains of the respective teams, the boys and the girls, give me their playlist of the run out music, and
Mm-hmm.
then I mix it so there's no gaps, and it's got 25 minutes of constant whatever. And I have to pass that through the AD because nowadays everything they want is this rap and hip hop, and there's all kinds of awful
Yeah.
language in it, and we can't play it because there's a lot of kids and adults. So the AD will say, okay, don't do this, don't do this. This one's got a clean version. Well, we ran into the problem that even the clean version, if anybody does SoundCloud or anything like that, and it pulls up the original unclean version to look at the lyrics. And
Oh,
we had a parent say, I SoundClouded this, and here's the lyrics, even though it was the clean version. You could still pull up the nasty version on your phone, and then that got into a whole thing. So now it's like now the AD just tells me, listen, you listen to, I can't do this anymore. You listen to it, make sure there's nothing, puts it all back on me. There's
just play
nothing.
the Carpenters, Mark. Just play the Carpenters, and you'll be fine.
But I'll tell you what, I get. I mean, so much of the crowd, besides the student section, are parents and
Right.
relatives and or young little sisters and brothers. And I'm playing all like just the really fun classic pop from the Monkees and the Beatles to
Right.
Human League, Don't You Want Me, and Vanilla Ice. And they always come up to me after the games like, you know what, you just play the best music because
Yeah.
you look at the crowd and they're all clapping
Yeah.
and singing along and having a good time, and then here comes the team running out and it changes and the music goes and it sucks the life out of the room. And I
Yeah.
tell the kids, I go, guys, like when I used to be in charge of like all run out music, with you guys had no choice whatsoever. We kicked it off with like Let's Play Ball from AC/DC, and it got the crowd psyched. They
I'm
were
gonna write that one down.
clapping.
Let's play ball, ACD.
It's great for sports.
All right.
It's great for sports. AC/DC's Let's Play Ball. And or anything in that line, Teenage Rampage by the Sweet. I mean, even though they weren't familiar with the song, it's a driving kicking song and the crowd is into it.
Yeah.
That's the way you got to do it, guys. But they're like, yeah, but it's not what we want to warm up to.
Well, I have two more funny stories when it comes to announcing football this past year. So there's a lady who would come every week, and I think either her grandson was playing or her granddaughter was one of the cheerleaders, one of the two. And the first week she was there, I mean, she's older, so she's older than me, and she's walking up the bleachers, and she's having a hard time just getting up there. And I thought she was going to tell me to turn it down or something. And she comes up and she goes, "Can you play Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now by Starship?" And I'm like, sure, there's nothing like a little Starship to get the kids pumped, especially that song. But I did, and it made her so happy. And then every week, I'd play less and less of it. But every week I would play a little bit of Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now by Starship, and she'd give me the thumbs up. You know, she loved it. It's all about making people enjoy themselves and making people happy.
Oh yeah, yeah, indeed. I mean, every year for I don't know how many years now, I always during a game play, "I Am Your Radio," Boss Martians. You know, and that's not a song that anybody even really knows, but it's such a great pop driving song. But now the kids that are there all 4 years, freshman through senior, they sing along because I'm playing that song, because it's just a sing along number.
The last game that I did, a guy came up and sat right in front of me, and he was wearing a Hoodoo Gurus t-shirt. And you don't see that very often in Fountain Valley, California. It's very conservative, and you see more, you know, Keith Urban shirts and Toby Keith shirts and whatever.
Yeah.
But this guy came up and sat down, and I said, "Hey, I love your shirt." And so during halftime, I made sure to play "Let's All Turn On," and he just went nuts. It was pretty funny. And then we had a little girl, the last story here, a little girl who would come up every week. She was about 9 or 10, and always request "It's Raining Tacos" by Perry. And I would play it every week. And then one week, one of the freshman guys came up to me and said, "Can you not play that taco song anymore? It's really distracting the team." And I'm like, "I play it before the game. How can it be distracting the team?" And
we can hear it in the locker room.
Apparently. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I've got good friends I see all around town, and they're always like, "Hey, can you slip in this?" And I make notes all the time on my phone. I'm always making notes. I'll hear a song on the radio I haven't heard in a million years. I'm like, "Oh, that would be great to put in there and whatnot." And I had one parent who was like, "Come on, you got to give me some Iggy. You got to give me some Iggy." You know, and I'm like, "Okay." And then this was a couple of years ago, and he was in the stands for a playoff game, and I busted into "Lust for Life," you know, which is a great song. It's and everybody, they don't even know the song, but they're bopping their head like this. And I see him up in the back of the stands doing this kind of thing. And that's what, that does make it so much fun when people are just digging the music. And music can play such a big part in the atmosphere and everything that goes on. But
totally. Yeah, it can totally set the mood for the whole event, you know, whether it's a football game or a basketball game or you're DJing a party. I mean, if there's a party going on and the DJ there is not in tune with what's happening, you know, and a lot of times I'll do stuff just on the fly. Like I'll see something going on and I'll play a song that relates to it, you know, and years ago I was at a Halloween, our band was going to do a Halloween gig. They had a DJ there before us. And this guy came up in a dinosaur costume and started like a huge dinosaur costume and started like dancing like a nut. I went up to the DJ. I said, "You gotta play Walk the Dinosaur." And he goes, "That's not on my playlist." And I'm like, "Dude, you're an idiot. You really should be I mean, come on. It's not on your playlist."
So, it's all part of it. And, you know, I have this, what is it called? A Roadcaster or something? It's a mixer / MP3 or wave player, sound effects with buttons that just the pads, trigger pads. And I've got all sorts of special effects and things and little wah 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 wah, you know, or Danger Will Robinson, that kind of stuff. And during halftime we have the super shootout, which anybody makes a half court shot, $5. You get a $50 gift card to a local restaurant. Now that's all. The gift cards are donated. So all the money goes to the Booster Club for the year-end banquets and things. But man, I've got so many clips. So when people miss badly, you hear "oh," or goofy
or
stuff like
wah,
that.
Wah, wah. Yeah.
Or some of the parents will get the reference. You hear "missed it by that much."
Yeah.
You know, I'll have all these trigger buttons, and that's so much fun for me. I actually should even get paid to do this. I'll do it for nothing.
Yeah, you should.
But
You should.
no, it's good. But yeah, when I heard heavy metal was the most intelligent music, I had to go.
Well,
Okay.
I'm going to go out and buy a couple of Motorhead albums as soon as we're done here.
Yeah, I think
I'll let you know if it makes me smarter. I somehow I doubt it, but
it's all good. What else is new in your life, man? You got stuff coming up?
oh, there's
this
always
weekend
stuff
you're
coming
playing?
up, but you know, actually, I know David usually talks about new releases,
Yeah.
and I didn't plan anything just because I didn't know I was going to do this until about 10 minutes before we went on the air. But I did find out about a new release that just came out at Spotify and online only right now. But there's going to be vinyl beginning of 2025. If anyone remembers a power pop group called the Heats from Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
I featured them in my first Goldmine magazine article on Power Pop back in '93. I wrote about their Have an Idea album, which was their first record.
All right.
And great record. And, you know, they had a live album after that, and then they sort of broke up, didn't do anything for a long time. Guys went off into different bands or retired from the business. And now they've gotten back together and released a new record just called The Heats. And I've heard 3 tracks from it so far. I've been listening to the whole thing tonight, but the 3 tracks I heard were really, really good. One of them very Beatlesque. And so I'm very excited about that. It's nice to see guys coming back, you know, almost 40 years after they originally did it and doing it again, you know, and not compromising their ideals as far as what kind of music they like.
Yeah.
And so I'm really looking forward to digging into that one. I'd recommend everyone give it a listen on Spotify or the streaming service of your choice. And I think
the Heats.
Yeah, I think if you go to their website, you can pre-order the vinyl, which is what I'm going to do.
Nice. Well, I know I just saw yesterday, well, a couple of days have been going. I just saw it yesterday, but Henry Priestman from the Yachts has been posting about a new album coming out, which is like like old, unreleased stuff from the Yachts, from their sessions, the first 2 albums. And I'm a huge Yachts fan. And
you and Steve Schnee, yes.
And Steve Schnee. And you know, we had Henry Priestman on the show 2 years ago here or whatever. And I love his solo work. I love the Yachts. But so he had the whole inside of the booklet. He showed it online. I was like, oh, this is really cool. So I'm, you know, magnifying it, expanding it so I can look at stuff and read it. And in the thank you section, I was like, oh, look, he's thanking Steve Schnee. That's really nice. You figured he would, because Steve is a big, and there was David Bash and Mark Hershberger.
Oh,
and I was like, whoa, nice.
Wow.
So I immediately sent him a big thank you. So that's kind of cool. Little things like that.
Very cool. It's nice when you do the kind of stuff that we do and people appreciate it, you know, and there's a lot of really super cool musicians out there. I just wrote a press release for the new 2020 album that'll be out early 2025 on Spider Pop Big Stir Records. And it's an amazing album. I've heard the whole thing. I'd say the best since either the debut or the second record. And there's been 3 or 4 after that. But it harkens back to their old sound without sounding silly. You know, you can't pretend to be 21 when you're in your 50s or 60s, and they don't try to be. But just some great songs. And
I've got back pain.
Yeah. Ron Flint sent me a note thanking me for the press release and said, really great job. I really appreciate you doing it. And so it's nice when that kind of stuff happens. You know, it's nice to feel appreciated.
And just to tie into that, next week here on Material Issues, we've got Ron Flint and Steve Allen.
I knew they were coming up. That's awesome. I will be watching. They are both super nice guys.
Next week, so that's kind of cool.
Are you going to have Mike Gallo on too?
No, I mean,
that was just a joke. Just a joke.
Yeah, not going to happen.
No. Just a little humor there.
Yeah, but we're looking forward to talking to them about the new album. Of course, you know. if you are in
You know,
our
the cool thing about that, Ron's son is the drummer on the new record.
oh, cool. All right.
Ron's son, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. You just fixes up here. It's like I'm fixing my camera. If you see me looking around crazy like I'm not involved, but
Oh,
my
it's
camera
okay.
was
Happens to me
going
all
weird.
the time when I'm home. It's
Yeah. But what was I going to say? So yeah, speaking of new stuff, Rick Corcoran of the Orgone Box, he put a new single out. He's got a couple more he's going to be putting out there, and of course an album coming up. But we just booked Rick Corcoran for December 4th to talk to him here on Material Issues about
nice.
The Orgone Box and the new album that he's projecting. So that's coming up December 4th as well. But I think it's interesting talking about people that thank you in certain ways. Or like, did we just lose the video? Do you see me?
I see you.
Okay, my video just went. I think sometimes people do it better than I do, but bands, artists, whether they're on shows or they're being reviewed or whatever it may be, they must keep a log, or they must keep something somewhere of people that they need to say thank you to or want to say thank you to. Because otherwise, I don't know how sometimes these long lists of thank yous, I couldn't sit down right now and put together a list if I had a brand new album coming out of people that I just want to say thanks, because I don't, I didn't keep a little list.
How do you remember and not leave somebody out?
Exactly. So to be thought of like that, I mean, it's very cool.
Well, did he spell your name right?
Yes. Surprisingly.
Even better. He didn't do the BURGER.
SCHQU. No. Hey, I got something really cool to show you. Yes. I think we talked about this, but I haven't actually shown it. But those cards, the Walrus cards out of the UK.
Oh yeah,
the little collector's cards. It's hard to see with the, but there's the Beatles' second album on a little cigarette card, and that's just. I mean, it goes with all their albums. There's some George and some Abbey Road, and there's 13 sets. They're called Walrus. But there's 13 sets that cover all the UK albums, and I've got them all here. And I got very lucky that one person had every single one of them and gave me a great price. Because if you go out there on eBay now, like one set's selling $25-$30, one set of 13 cards, and I didn't pay anywhere near $25 to $30 per set, and I got them all.
Nice.
So for Beatle collectors out there, they're very cool.
Yeah, I'm one of those, and that's a slippery slope, man, because there's just so much. And I gotta stop going on eBay. That's what I've got to do. Because every day, oh, that looks nice. Oh, I don't have that. Oh, that would be cool. And then I think, do I really need that? And then that thought goes away instantly. And then of course I do. Of course I need that.
Well, David and I talk about the psychology of collecting quite often, because his psych background, my psych background. And as I get older, there's things I see, and it's just my initial reaction is, oh, gotta get that. It's gotta have it. But as I get older, I tend to take a step back and go, what do I need this for?
Right.
I'm going to get it. I'm going to stick it on a shelf somewhere. Nobody else is going to see it outside of maybe my daughter's visiting and go, what is that? Which doesn't usually happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of toned down over the last couple of years my impulse buying, just because it looks cool. But sometimes, man, I can't help it. That little, that little Beatles player, whatever, it's around here somewhere. The little Beatle discs and things. I had to have that for some reason.
There's another one coming out on Record Store Day. Another little record holding box, and I'm ashamed to say I pre-ordered.
See,
but well, two things. Number one, I don't feel bad collecting a lot of Beatles stuff, because most of it is going to appreciate in value, and it's something I'll be able to leave to my children.
Yeah,
and if they both love the Beatles, so
right. If they love the Beatles and they want it, and they know that they appreciate what it is and the value of it, that's one step you have up, you know.
Right.
Yeah, Hannah, my oldest, she wants all my vinyl. She wants my jukebox. You know, I have a big 67 Seaberg jukebox
Hmm.
filled with 45s. She wants, you know, certain things. My other daughter wants a few little things, but there's a ton of stuff that neither of them really know about or
Right.
understand that has a lot of value. And I worry about that stuff a little bit. But then I go, well, if I drop over tomorrow, I'm not going to know what happened. If they put it all in the dumpster, it won't affect me. So
True.
if it's making me happy right now, that's life. You
Yeah.
know?
Just, when you do drop over, which will be way, way in the future, obviously,
Yeah.
don't have them do an estate sale. Those are the saddest things. I feel like I'm walking into somebody's home and like stealing their stuff, even though I'm
Yeah.
paying for it. I don't know. It just kind of creeps me out a little bit going to estate sales. And I've gotten some good stuff at estate
Yeah.
sales, but I don't go very often. I think
You know what? There are places.
the last one I went to, somebody told me there's gonna be a lot of Beatles stuff at this estate sale. You got to go, and so I did. It was just kind of weird, but
Yeah.
anyway.
There are auction houses around here that you can take a lot of things to and you know send it from there, but or sell it from there. But as I get older and start to approach retirement age and think about what I want to do and know that I have a house that's just a massive cabinet of curiosities, which is what I call my house. Um, if I do certain things that I'd like to do, I can't take 90% of the stuff with me, you know?
Right.
And
And you feel more responsible, I think, when you get older too, especially when you have children.
yeah,
You don't want to leave them with a bunch of stuff to clean up or get rid of, or
exactly.
feel like they
Exactly.
have to keep and they don't want to keep it. I mean, my daughter's got enough crap already. She's only 26, and I don't want to weigh her down with any more.
Yeah. And that weighs slightly heavy on my mind a little bit. And I do need to in the next 4 years, I need to figure out. I mean, I need to drop 20 guitars. You
Mm.
know, I got a lot of guitars, a lot of good guitars. I just don't need to hang on to them forever.
Oh yeah.
Somebody else needs to make better use of them. There's just tons of just stuff. I got a lot of stuff from my parents, whatever, because they kept on to their collections and they had it all. And so I've got just tons of early American pattern glass, which is highly collectible to the right collector. You got to find
Right.
that right collector. So
Well,
that's not going out the curb.
and people say stuff like, well, it's going for $75 on eBay. Well, that doesn't mean anyone's buying it for $75. It
Right.
means that's what
Right.
somebody's asking for it. Just
Right.
because you ask something for that doesn't necessarily mean that's the price that you're going to get. So,
Right. Yeah.
especially with Beatles stuff, people think everything is collectible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of it is, they made millions and millions of these records, and it's not worth anything. And
Yeah.
I've gone into shops and seen copies of Meet the Beatles that are just completely beaten to hell, the record and the cover, and they're asking $20 for it. I'm like, why would anybody do that?
Yeah.
It's just dumb.
Yeah. It's interesting. But as I told my girls, um, a lot of this stuff is not yard sale stuff, but
Right.
you need to have a way of disposing of it properly. But then, then I think, yeah, I need to downsize this so they're not burdened with it. And even if I get, 1/5 of the value, that's all right because it doesn't matter what I initially paid for it or what it might have initially been worth. It was here. It provided me with happiness. Now I need to downsize. Now it's
Yeah.
got to go.
Yeah. It's not
And
going to do you any good just sitting there.
yeah, it's not about the money anymore. It's just about moving on from type of thing. So, because I'd love to sell the house and get a nice 30-foot RV camper van type thing and travel the country for about 5 years if my health is good enough and just see all the little places,
Yeah.
little things, and that's what I'd
Well,
love to do. But I can't do that with a house full of stuff.
I was just talking to a good friend of mine. I won't tell you who it is on the air. I don't want to embarrass them, but um, they moved out of the area and they had a lot of stuff, a lot of Beatles stuff, especially. And they had to get a storage unit. And they had a ton of collectible stuff, and somebody broke into it and stole pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And oh man, I can't even imagine.
That was kind of, it's kind of like part of my plan too, is that there's things that I want to hang on to because, that I want to pass down to my daughter. So if I did do something, if I did downsize, move somewhere, whatever, the storage unit came into my mind, but it would have to be, you'd have to find a good storage facility that's secure and,
right.
It's temperature controlled and, because some of the stuff like, my two Telecasters that I played all those years live with, they were my two live guitars. They're, cleaned up and in cases, and I haven't had them out in a million years, but one's going to go to each of my daughters. That's
Right.
what I want them to have.
Sure.
All the other guitars, it doesn't matter, but those two were what I played a lot with.
Yeah.
And, but that would have to be in a storage facility that they're not going to end up just flooded and rusted and, that type
Right.
of thing. So,
well, make sure to tell Hannah and Leah that should you happen to go before me, those baseball cards you showed me earlier,
yeah,
I can give them my mailing address. If they don't want them, I'm just saying.
I'm putting your name on the box right now.
No, it's BORACK.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Popdude at AOL.com.
AOL.com. Yes.
There you go. David RT. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you've mentioned it to David Bash, who, if you're just tuning in, David had a little bit of physical challenges tonight with a back problem that he couldn't really sit and do the show, so he's not here with us tonight. But he'll
so
be
you're
back
saying,
next week.
Mark, he's got a week back?
Yes.
How long's he had it for?
I think he's had it for a long time.
Well, you're supposed to say about a week back. Never.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. But
I teed it up for you, Mark, and just whipped. You whipped. Man.
Tex Avery. Yeah. So he's not joining us tonight. So our good friend John Borick is hanging here in his stead. But what was I talking about?
I don't know, but if you've ever seen David's stead, I'm not sure if you'd want to be hanging in it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, David promises me if he goes tomorrow, I do get his Mont Blanc pen collection. So,
that's nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Yeah.
Well, he hasn't promised me anything.
No, I mean, it's not that he promised it me too. I just told him I want it, and he was like, I bothered him so much. He finally said, "Yeah, fine, whatever." So
my luck, I'll get all his hats, and they'll be too small for my head, and I won't be able to use them.
Where would not heaven forbid, hopefully David outlives all of us, but if he didn't, where would his hat, his classic bowler hat right now, where should that be enshrined for all to see?
It's not something I've given much thought to, quite honestly.
Would it have a corner in Freakbeat Records?
On the mantle in his living room.
Yeah.
And you can turn it over and put his ashes in it. That way it does double duty. I don't know.
I was thinking of releasing a Material Issues collector card set, and there would be a little piece of the hat. You know how they have it in collector cards, a little piece of a uniform.
Oh yeah.
See? You see?
Yeah. Or you can send it on tour. I don't know if you remember that old SNL skit, Elvis Presley's coat. And Elvis was gone, but the coat got sent out on tour. You can send David's hat to every IPO and just put it up on the mic stand when it comes time to introduce the band. But that's not going to happen for a long time. David will be with us.
What did I just...
Mark,
it just reminded me of something.
Watching this, Mark brought it up. It wasn't me.
It just reminded me of something really funny. I'm trying to remember what it is. Woody Allen, Sleeper, when he had the president's nose by gunpoint. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh God. He wakes up in the future and he's running around, he's trying to escape the lab that found him and all this kind of stuff, and they were preserving the president of the union or whatever, his nose. So he swipes the nose and has it by gunpoint saying, let me go, or the nose gets it. It's just a hilarious scene. Big Woody Allen fan of his early stuff.
Yeah. I'm not much of a movie guy. Just a few here and there, but
No, really? Yeah. I'm a classic movie guy. I love the early '60s Technicolor. I love the Chitty Chitty Bang Bangs and Sound of Music and South Pacific and Oklahoma and The Music Man. One of my favorite, The Music Man. 76 trombones. Shirley Jones.
Well, I will tell you two of my favorite movies out of the ones that I have seen. Actually, three. Most of it is probably fiction, but I loved JFK. JFK.
Yeah.
I also loved Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite movie ever because he did such an amazing job bringing that character to life. And the late John Cazale was in that one too, and just a really incredible, well-acted film.
Yep.
And then the third one would be something completely different. I don't know if you remember this one, a movie called Night Shift.
Oh yeah, with
Henry Winkler, Michael Keaton, and
Michael Keaton. Yep.
And they operate a prostitution ring out of a morgue.
Morgue. Yep. I remember.
It was the most ridiculous premise. I don't know how it ever got green lighted, but there's so many lines in there that just still make me fall down laughing to this day.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, every Monty Python movie. That's in my top favorite. Every Monty Python movie. Young Frankenstein. One of my all-time favorite. Gene Wilder. Terry Garr, who just passed away recently.
Oh yeah.
But I think my all-time favorite movie, and virtually nobody, well, there's two of them, but virtually no one has ever seen this one, but The Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe with Tony Randall. Early 60s again, Technicolor. Absolute killer movie. Barbara Eden. Sci-fi, fantasy, comedy, interesting. And Tony Randall plays 7 different characters in the movie. He's a Chinese traveling circus owner. But the magic is he travels on his donkey with the donkey. And this entire circus magically appears from wherever town he's in, like a giant tent, all the little different sub-tents with all the characters. And he plays 7 different characters. It's an absolute wonderful movie. And Barbara Eden plays one of like the townsfolk who's, divorced with a young child who wants to go to the circus. And I'm a big Barbara Eden fan too. Barbara. But yeah, just an absolutely great movie. But for those who've seen it, they're like, "Oh my God, what a great movie!" But most people go, "Never heard of it." Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting premise for sure.
Yeah, it really is.
And some of that stuff that happened in the '60s, especially the later part of the '60s, mid '60s on, as far as television goes, it makes you think. Again, how did some of this stuff get green lighted? Like the Flying Nun. How do you bring that to the table? Hey, I got this great idea for a comedy show. So there's this nun. We make her fly. It's like, what? Yet somehow, My Mother the Car. I mean, that got on the air for a couple of years. I don't. A lot of acid was done in the '60s. I'm pretty sure by these people.
Yeah, and I think the wackier the idea, sometimes the people were just like, yeah, this sounds great. I mean, look at it here. We got Tim checking in. I love The Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe.
There you go.
Yeah, here we go.
You're not alone.
I love it. You go through a lot of those '60s sitcoms, even ones that only made it for a season, and you're like, how did that?
Yeah.
Whose idea was that?
Mr. Ed. I was just watching a clip of Mr. Ed the other day.
Love Mr. Ed.
The one where they have a lot of the Dodgers baseball teams.
Yeah.
John Roseborough's on there, Sandy Koufax, Willie Davis, Moose Skowron, which means it must have been 62 or 63.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they have Mr. Ed hitting the ball and running the bases, and just the most ridiculous thing. But, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was the time then, I suppose, where people.
My favorite Martian.
Right.
Precursor to Jonathan. What was his name? Jonathan. Lead actor, I forget. But before his time on Lost in Space, which was a great.
Oh, yeah, I know the guy you're talking about. I can't think of his name. Jonathan
Harris.
Right.
Jonathan Harris. Yeah. but he was, he was a Martian. A little antenna came out of his head, living on Earth with it, in a household as an uncle or neighbor or whatever, and then went on to play the space traveling Robinson Family, which is one of my favorite series as well, Lost in Space. So good.
Yeah.
God, there's so many
is another interesting premise. And
Bewitched.
they had saw a clip of this one too, where they had Willie Mays do a cameo on Bewitched. So how did this even happen? I don't know.
Yeah. But it's just, it's amazing. Television will never be like that again. Well, number one, your broadcast is not like it was. And the captive audience, if you're 1968, 69, 70, you've got 3, 6, and 10, and maybe 2 UHF channels. You didn't have many channels to choose from.
Yeah.
And something was coming on, every Thursday night, and there were no reruns. You had to be there or you missed it.
Yeah.
Especially as a kid, if you were watching the Brady Bunch or the Partridge Family or the Courtship of Eddie's Father, or, on and on and on. The next day in school, everybody's talking about that episode. The Monkees. Right. Everybody's talking about the episodes. Even when you're in grade school, and if you missed it, you missed it. There was no reruns and going back on watching the VHS that you taped it. And so, that was all part of it. You had
different
to see
time. And what this conversation has served to remind me, Mark, is that both of us are very old.
Yes. Directly for the popularity of Francis the Talking Mule films. Yes, absolutely.
There you go.
Tim.
Francis the Talking Mule, Bedtime for Bonzo. Ronald Reagan, which is, anyway.
I even miss things like American Bandstand. I mean, Saturdays we're in front of the TV watching teenagers dance to whatever, waiting for the Raider record to come on to see, what was going to be rated.
Kind of similar to American Bandstand, but radio-wise, I listen to all the Casey Kasem American Top 40 episodes. Yep. They run them a few times a week on Sirius XM.
Yep.
On the 70s channel, and boy, that takes me back to when I first started collecting 45s back in junior high and then high school. It just brings me right back to those times. I remember what I was doing when I first heard the record. I remember buying the 45, where I bought the 45, the whole 9 yards.
It takes you right back to I always say that there are songs that take me right back to a specific place and time. I always go back to Shannon, Henry Gross. I hear Shannon. I am right back in junior high, dance on a Friday night up in the bleachers of the gymnasium, sitting in the corner by myself, staring at this girl I had a huge crush on, who was dancing with this other guy. And that song was playing at that time. And if I hear it today, it takes, I know we joked about Dan Hartman's Sometimes When We Touch, right?
I don't mind that song, honestly. It doesn't bother me.
But I mean, that was my sophomore year, the freshman girl I was dating, and that was our song. And she used the shampoo, "Gee, your hair smells terrific."
Oh yeah.
And gee, did that smell terrific. And today, if I hear that song, which you don't hear very often, I can smell that shampoo. It takes me right back to.
Yeah. Well, that's what music does. It evokes memories, and when it's something that means a lot to you, a memory that means a lot to you, the music just makes it that much more vivid to me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's so many songs that if they come on, my playlist, I immediately start to cry.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's songs you wouldn't think. But one, and this is going to sound really weird, but it's Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler. Because that was the only time I ever saw my dad cry.
Yep.
We were driving home from work, and all of a sudden that song comes on the radio, and I look over, and tears are rolling down his cheeks. And I'm like, what the hell? And I didn't want to say anything, so I never did. But now when I hear that song, I think of him, and I cry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've often thought about when these things happen to me, when I hear songs, I need to make notes about it. And I could almost write a book about, you know, the way call it the way I feel tonight, or something along those lines, where all the experience of certain songs, the why, the where, the how, the when, and what they made me feel. You know, when I hear Tommy Rose Dizzy, which you don't hear that often anymore, but I'm right in the back seat of my parents' giant Chrysler New Yorker as they're flipping through the radio, and Dizzy will go, stop, you know, and I'm listening and I'm singing along to Tommy Rose Dizzy, and I could just see my parents look at each other like, oh.
Listen to it again. Okay.
Yeah, you know, and they would let it on, and I got to hear it, you know, and that was usually on the way to a little diner we always ate at, where it was the first place I ever had crab cakes. So Tommy Rose Dizzy, I associate with crab cakes too, because it was in the car to the diner. There's Tommy Rose Dizzy, and I'm getting crab cakes, and I'm however many years old I was, 6.
Eating crab cakes and happy as a clam. That's a mixed
happy as a clam. Yeah, more seafood related
seafood humor. Yeah,
it just it's absolutely true. And well, hey, but talking about songs and your memories, are you up for playing a stump the Borak tonight?
Sure, why not?
Listen, we were going to do this.
If I can get 3 points, I'll consider it a moral victory, because I'm no David Bash here. But
well, we're still going to do it. And if anybody has forgotten how this works, or if you need a refresher, John, you've seen this a number of times. I've got the years 1965 to 1975. That's an 11-year period. John will pick a year. And hi, Lisa. How you doing? Lisa's checked in and said, fantastic.
Is that Lisa Michaels?
That's Lisa Michaels.
Oh, hi, Lisa. Yeah. I can't see my screen. I'm on my phone and it's tiny. Hi, Lisa. Hope you and Tom and the kids are doing well.
Yes, indeed.
We miss you.
Yes, indeed. Great to see Lisa. Yeah, so John, you're going to pick a year. And I'm going to give you clue number 1. And usually they're very hard, vague 1 clues. And when David gets a 5, I'm always just like, you know.
Right.
But we're just going to play along and see how it goes. If you get on the first clue, you get 5 points. If you get all the way down to the last clue, which is the 5th one, you get 1 point. If you don't get it all, you get a 0. And out of 5 years that you pick, you need to get 15 points to not be stumped. That's an average of 3 per each year.
And we're going to do this
some
a
of
lot
these
faster
get to
than
be
David does it, because I see David agonizing when I watch it.
Yeah, you're just going to go next.
Oh, I know this
next.
One. What is it? Now, what is it? Next.
The thing is, he sweats about it for 7 minutes, and I'm sitting there going, there's no way. And then he pops out with the darn song, and it's bang on. I'm like, how did you do that?
He's like the Rain Man of pop.
He is. He's a savant of pop. But
right.
All right, let's give it a shot just for fun, and we'll go through it. So pick a year, 65 to 75.
Well, let's do 1970.
All right. David's probably going to, if he watches this later on, he's probably going to be happy that he didn't do this stump, because
he
it's
left
pretty
it to
tough.
me.
I gotta say.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
All right, so we are going to be at chart position number 63. So 63 gets a little farther down there, but this is the Billboard Hot 100 year-end chart position. So the song came in number 63 for the year-end 1970. So here's clue number 1 for 5 points. This song was a multi-format success, peaking at number 6 on Billboard on May 1st, 1970. It reached number 13 on the R&B charts and number 9 on the adult contemporary charts. Now, I know you stand there go, what does the chart position help me at all? But that is something that David always clued right in on. Yeah.
I'm going to throw out a guess here, because it sounds like it might be something like this. Didn't I Blow Your Mind by the Delphonics?
That's a great guess. I got it. No, I mean, I'm not just saying that. That's a great guess. It is incorrect, but a heck of a good guess. Yeah, heck of a good guess. All right, we did not get 5 points. We'll go on to clue number 2 for 4 points. This was released in March of 1970 on the RCA Victor label, and it was backed with a track called This Generation.
Baby the Rain Must Fall by Glenn Yarbrough.
Oh, another great guess, but
No, see, I got good guesses. I don't have the right
you
answer.
got good guess.
I have good guesses.
Yeah, but hey, if you don't throw darts, you're not going to hit the bullseye. So
there you go.
There you go. All right. Well, we didn't get it on that. We're going to go to clue number 3 for 3 points. This was written by Skip Scarborough, Jerry Peters, and Anita Purray.
Oh, well, that makes it simple. RCA, adult contemporary. You said adult contemporary, soul, and
R&B chart, adult
Right.
contemporary, and Billboard. Yep. Billboard pop.
I don't know. Just go to the next one. I have no idea.
All right. Question or clue number 4 for 2 points. The lead singer, Charlene Gibson, sings the classic line from this song, "Part-time love I can find any day."
Wow. You think I would know now, but I don't.
It's a tough song. I'm telling you, this is a tough one.
I do not know.
Then the last clue for 1 point. This group formed in 1968 in Los Angeles and were discovered by legendary football player Jim Brown, who also discovered Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Wow. Didn't know that. For some reason, all I keep thinking is the main ingredient, but I know that's not the band, so I don't know.
All right. Well, that's a 0 for 1970.
Mm-hmm.
But hold on 1 second before I give you the final answer. David's texting me. For some reason, we're not getting your comments popping up on StreamYard. He did say he knew it on the 4-point clue.
Well, of course he did.
So, David, if you're
go lie down and let me fail on my own.
Well, he's obviously watching, so he heard your comment. So, David said he got in the 4-point clue. That would be 1970. "Love or Let Me Be Lonely" by the Friends of Distinction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait. There, he just texted me, "Love or Let Me Be Lonely." David, I'll watch the texts as well as they come in. But Mr. B, which would be the Borak B, didn't get anything in 1970, but we've got a couple more years to go. Where would you like to go to next?
Let's do 72.
72 is always a good one. However, tonight, this is a tougher one. But this one, I'm kind of feeling good about this one for you, all right? Okay. Clue number 1, 1972 chart position number 63 for the year. This track, written in 1954 by David Arkin, father of actor Alan Arkin, with music by Earl Robinson.
I don't know. Number 4.
Question number 2 or clue number 2 for 4 points. It was first recorded by Pete Seeger in 1956, featuring an African-American child from the album Love Songs for Friends and Foes. So Pete Seeger originally recorded this in 1956, and it featured an African-American child from his album Love Songs for Friends and Foes.
Featured the child doing what? Singing? Or
I don't know. It just says featuring the child.
Featured one. Okay.
He says, we need more clues.
Apparently. Pete's, I don't know.
All right. Clue number 3 for 3 points. This version, which was the most successful version, was released in August of 1972 on the Dunhill label, backed with Freedom for the
Stallion.
Can't read my writing. Freedom for the Stallion?
If it is, I should get 1 point for knowing the B-side.
That would be good. Sometimes my writing, I can't read it. David has not texted in. The only people texting me is Virtua Health. David did just check in, and he did get the answer correct.
Good. I'm happy. I'm thinking it's something by Three Dog Night, maybe, but I don't know.
All right, we'll go on to clue number 4 for 2 points. It was also recorded by UK group Greyhound in 1971. Having heard the Greyhound version, this band covered the song for their 1972 album, Seven Separate Fools.
Okay, so it is Three Dog Night. But what song did they do that was a 1950s song that was a hit?
Remember, Pete Seeger recorded it featuring an African-American child.
Right. Pete Seeger. I don't know any. I'm not a Pete Seeger guy.
African-American child.
Right. It's still not. I'm sorry. It's still not doing it for me. This must be riveting for your viewers.
All right, let's go to clue number 5 for 1 point.
Yeah. I don't know.
The song was originally inspired by the U.S. Supreme Court decision of Brown versus the Board of Education in 1954, which outlawed racial segregation of public schools.
It's not Black and White, is it?
1 point, Black and White. You already said Three Dog Night.
I never knew that was a song that Pete Seeger. Wow. Okay.
That I didn't know when I looked up trying to find clues for this. I did not know it was originally written in 1954. No.
Yeah, me either. I thought it was a Three Dog Night tune that somebody had written around that time period.
I did too.
And at least I didn't completely strike out. So that's
you got 1 point there. You're only 14 points away. So if you get 2 5s and a 4 in the next three years, you're there.
Yeah, and a monkey might fly out of my butt also.
If it does, we've got it live on air here on Material Issues, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's try 73.
73. All right, let's move on.
Since I'm now on a roll with the 70s.
Ooh, boy. Okay, here we go. First clue's never very, very easy, but this 1973 song reached number 10 on Billboard and number 2 on the Hot Soul Singles chart. Ooh, Tim Allen came in with 3 points on that last one with Black and White. Good job, Tim.
I don't know. Go to the second clue.
David's sitting at 7 points now with a 4 and a 3. So he just wanted to update everybody on that. So
good.
All right, clue number 2 for 4 points. Chart position number 63 in 1973. The singer co-wrote the song with Teenie Hodges, who also collaborated with this singer on a number of other hits. So the clue there is Teenie Hodges is the co-writer with the singer of this song.
And you said, and what was the first clue again? Soul?
73, number 10 on Billboard and number 2 on Hot Soul Singles chart.
You haven't mentioned the label yet, have you?
Not yet.
All right, well, maybe you'll mention it in the third clue.
Third clue for 3 points. Released in June of 1973 on High Records, backed with "I'm Glad You're Mine."
Well, it might be Al Green.
Are you looking for a facial reaction from me to see if it
no, I can't see anything anyway. It's so far away on my phone. Al Green, but what Al Green song? Maybe "Call Me."
Hold on, I'm just checking. David's coming in with a lot of gobbledygook.
Oh, doesn't he always though?
I'm going to say no to both of you.
Okay.
Yeah, David does not have it either. So it's going to be a no. Yeah.
So it's not
I'm multitasking here. All right, clue number 4 for 2 points. It was the second single released from this singer's album titled "Call Me."
So obviously "Call Me" would have been the first single.
I think you closed right in on it right there. Yeah.
Yeah, boy, I'm sharp, aren't I? I'm not Al Green. "Call Me." Why I'm blanking on any other Al Green songs here.
Mr. Bash did just check in, and he did get it after 4, so he got 2 points on that. I think that puts him at 9 right now. He's still kind of on the edge of making 15. So we're going to go down to the final clue for you, Mr. Borak. British reggae pop band UB40 released a cover version that peaked at number 46 on the UK charts.
Well, it's not Red Red Wine. That was Neil Diamond. So I don't know.
Well, 0 points on 1973 for you, Mr. John. It was Al Green. Did have that correct. The track was called "Here I Am, Come and Take Me."
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
right.
Which you both, Mr. Bash was checking in with "Call Me" as well, and but that was the first single off the same title album,
right.
"Call Me."
All right.
But all right, we've covered 70, 72, 73. Where are you going for year number 4?
74.
I was going to say make it hard on David as well. All right, here we go. 1974, chart position number 63 in an early version of this song, which had the working title "White Collar Worker." The chorus riff and vocal melody were similar to the Beatles' "Paperback Writer." In an early version of this song.
"Don't Call Us, We'll Call You" by Sugarloaf?
It is not. It's not. It's a good guess, though. Good guess.
I'm full of good guesses, just not right answers.
No, it's all good. But it's food for thought. All right, clue number 2 for 4 points. The songwriter's original idea was to write about a recording technician who worked on his previous band's recordings. The technician would always take the 8:15 train to get to work.
I don't know.
Think about that a little bit more.
The train, yeah.
He would take the 8:15 train to get to work. Mr. Bash checked in with the correct answer for 4 points, putting him up to 13 of the required 15 to not be stumped. So he's still sweating it a little bit.
I don't know.
All right, let's go to clue number 3 for 3 points. Released in January 1974 on the Mercury label, backed with Stonegates.
Now I've forgotten all the other clues.
Clue number 1, early version was called "White Collar Worker." Chorus and riff.
Okay. 8:15.
The recording technician took the 8:15.
Taking Care of Business by Bachman Turner Overdrive.
He took the 8:15 into the city.
People pushing, people shoving. Yeah. At least I didn't get completely stumped on that.
Look at that. You got 3 points there.
Wow. Wow. Go me.
That was your best. That was your best showing so far.
That was probably the first album that I bought with my own money was the Bachman Turner Overdrive album with that song on it.
Well, and it's interesting when I was looking up the clues for this, like an early version that he was presenting to Burton Cummings called "White Collar Worker." Burton Cummings said, "No, we're not doing this. It's a stupid song." But then he heard what he heard. I didn't write it down here, but he heard another song on the radio that reminded him of what he was trying to do, and he completely changed it all. He completely changed the riff. Yeah. He changed the whole "white collar worker" to "taking care of business," and Cummings was like, "That's it," and the rest, of course, is history. With BTO.
I don't think it would have been Cummings because he was out of the Guess Who by then, right?
No, but I think the early version he was like.
The early version he brought to the Guess Who before. That's probably why he left.
This sucks. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we got one more year to go.
70. Let's have 71. Let's do 71.
71. We go back to 71. Just flipping through my little thing here. Here we go. All right. This will be interesting. Clue number 1 for 5 points, coming in at number 63 in 1971. This will be right in Mr. Bash's wheelhouse. This was released in March of 1971 on Kama Sutra, backed with "Oh Mommy."
Is it "Put Your Hand in the Hand" by Ocean?
It is not. It is
Damn.
not. Another great guess, though.
I know. I keep having great guesses.
All right, that was your 5-point clue. Let's go on to number 2. Wait a second. We're checking in. Tim Allen got a 4-point on a totally blind guess. There we go. So Tim, you're not doing bad tonight.
Doing better
Clue
than
number
me.
2 for 4 points. The track, very controversial at the time, with the FCC issuing certain guidance to radio station operators. Some stations wouldn't play it at all. Others played it a lot in protest.
It's not Brand New Key by Melanie. That was 1970, but I'll just say that.
No, we're not going to go with Brand New Key.
No.
All right, clue number 3 for 3 points. The song peaked at number 10 on Billboard and was this duo's only top 40 hit.
Oh, Brewer and Shipley, One Toke Over the Line.
3 points. See, David. Now, see if Mr. Bash did not get that, which we don't really know because we're playing here live with you. He's going to have to be honest with us.
I bet he got that one. I'm sure he did.
He does say One Toke. It just came through, so he got it. Even if he got it here on the third clue, that gives him 16. Playing via text, laying flat on his hotel bed in Roanoke, Virginia. Are you still there, John? Mr. See, John just got stumped with a total of 7 points, and he just left us.
Uh-oh.
I thought you left us in protest because you got 7 points, and you went black there for a second.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Sure why.
David says he forgot it was on Kama Sutra. So John, you can't hear me? I can hear you.
Can't hear you. Let me go out and try to come back in.
Well, there you go. David checking in from Roanoke, Virginia. He and Rena were searching for the lost wine colony. It wasn't the first American colonization, but Rena's searching for the lost winery of Roanoke, Virginia. But that's where they're at right now. But David, if you're just joining us, I can't hear you, Donnie Iris.
Here I am.
David said, "I can't hear you, Donnie Iris." So he got 5 points for something we weren't even playing.
Wait, what?
When you said, "I can't hear you."
Oh, I get it. I got it.
So that clue said David Bash said Donnie Iris. I can't hear you. But I was just saying, for those who have checked in and said, "Where's David Bash?" He's lying prone on Roanoke, Virginia, as Rena is doing the lost wine colony of Roanoke, Virginia. And there we go. Tim Allen tied John. David cannot be beaten. So, John, you did tie Tim Allen.
I think Rena's beaten him a few times.
But that was fun. We got in a nice. We actually got a nice Stump the Borak live and in person here on Material Issues with David Bash playing from Roanoke. So, wait, Lisa says David is only 3 hours away from us. Lisa, David could use some homemade chicken soup, and or actually get out that recipe book I sent you and make something really strange out of that and take it to David. That'll get him up and out of bed and running quickly. It's all good, but yeah, a lot of fun. Thanks for
that's it's funny. You know the songs, but you don't know them. I don't know. I don't necessarily know the labels or the month or day the things were released or where they've necessarily finished in the charts for the year. But
well, I think that's part of the fascination of playing this Stump the Bash. It really doesn't matter whether we stump David or not, although it's fun trying, and it's only rare that we've ever really stumped him. But it's the little background things you find on the song, the little information, like like some of the things we talked about tonight, that Pete Seeger, performing the song being written in 1954. There we go. You got to take some peanut butter ketchup dip over, Lisa. That'd be great. David checked in here by text. Lisa, unfortunately, we didn't pass through Richmond. Yeah, so he didn't stop. He apologizes. But that's half the fun of playing the game, is just learning a little bit of.
Now I know when I'm done. When I'm done, I'm going to Google Teeny Hodges and find out more about
Teeny Hodges. He wrote like 3 or 4 other songs with Al Green. Another one of his hits. I forget what it was, but interesting. But it's all fun. But somehow, John, we've managed to burn through an hour and 15 minutes on a show that I really didn't think was going to go more than 10 minutes, because I didn't know you were going to join me here and have some fun. So
yeah,
we appreciate you hanging out.
Oh, sure, it was a lot of fun. It's I want to tell people, if you're a Beatles fan, there's a couple of cool new releases coming out too. The George Harrison "Living in the Material World."
Oh yeah.
Reissues coming out, I think maybe today, maybe it came out yesterday or next week, I don't know, soon. I think it's maybe Thursday or Friday.
That looks good.
Yeah. I've got it. I'm anxious to hear it, to see if they got rid of some of that awful tape hiss which was inherent in the originals. So that's pretty cool. Then of course all the original mono US albums are coming out in a few weeks too, so it's always a good time to be a Beatles fan. David says
Material World's coming out on Friday.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And talking about coming around, just want to mention next week here on Material Issues, which would be November 20th. Legendary, fantastic power pop band that we all love, 2020, which new album coming out in the very near future. Ron Flint and Steve Allen are going to be here next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, talking history of 2020 and talking about the new album. We're going to play some tracks. David keeps checking in. John Cole Paris, 1919 deluxe reissue on Friday. John Cale. Oh, John Cale. John Cale's Paris. Yeah.
Oh,
Paris 1919. I saw that advertised somewhere, maybe Shindig or something.
Oh, is that? I think we did one of his songs on our last album, we being the Armoires.
Oh, yeah.
I forget what it was called, but I think it was from that album.
Okay, cool.
It might have been the title track. Was there a track on there called Paris 1919?
David, is there a track on there called Paris 1919?
I'm not too familiar with the album, but
maybe that's why he brought it up. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, so that's well,
yes,
that's another thing.
He says
okay,
affirmative.
Yeah,
Paris 1919. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun to do. We turned it into kind of a guided by voices stomping sort of thing. It was pretty cool. Yeah, nice. But yeah, very excited about the new Armoires album. It's been out for a month now, and we've gotten some really nice reviews that I'm very grateful for. First time I've ever been on a full album where I've drummed the whole thing. Yeah, unless you count Pop Dudes, which I don't really, because that wasn't really a band per se.
David's confirming that Paris 1919 is in fact what you covered, and it is a fantastic version.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing song.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very gratified. Someone's called my drumming empathetic in one of the reviews, which I thought was an interesting adjective for drumming.
Empathetic.
It's better than pathetic. It's better than pathetic.
Well, yeah.
I'll take it. And then I guess it's on
Heretic?
I guess it's in the racks at Amoeba under staff picks or something.
Oh, nice.
And the person who wrote the blurb talked about my drumming and said it was Cure-like, which is ironic because I'm not a big fan of the Cure at all.
Oh, Cure-like. I thought you said Hure-like. I'm like, who's Hure? Is he a drummer?
Cure.
I don't know.
Cure. The Robert Smith big hair guy.
Yeah.
But I'm not too familiar with their stuff because I'm not a big fan, but apparently I sound like their drummer. I don't know. But anyway, and then the other thing, Simmons and I recently recorded actually 3 songs for different tributes. That'll be coming out probably, I'm guessing, in early 2025. So one of them is Andrew Curry's Rick Springfield tribute, which we're excited about. We covered Don't Talk to Strangers, which was a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah. Excellent. Well, we got.
So who else is coming up? I didn't mean to interrupt you. Who else is coming up?
No, it's great to go off in tangents. That's what we do so well on this show. Is we take off and then we
20 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, Ron Flint and Steve Allen next Wednesday from 2020. Then the following week, which is Thanksgiving week, and the 27th, we don't have a guest booked. It'll be just Dave and I probably going through a lot of new releases and whatnot, which was kind of what we were going to do tonight. But we'll put that off until the 27th. And then I'm really looking forward to this. This is 99% booked. I just need an affirmative, one extra affirmative. But December 4th, we've got Rick Corcoran, the Orgone Box. I'm a huge Orgone Box fan.
Yeah.
That those two albums just killed me, both of them. And Rick just released a new single, and he's got a couple more that are going to be released in the next few weeks, and that will turn into a new album sometime in the new year. But we're going to talk to Rick all the way from the UK on December 4th, and all about that. So David's checking in. Oh, Badfinger will be on the show. No, Badfinger Head First out on vinyl. December 13th. December 13th. Badfinger Head First out on vinyl. So
see, I hate to speak ill of the dead, but well, Joey Mullen's not dead.
Yeah. Right.
I guess I'll speak ill of just him. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. I've heard that album. It's been out on CD. I never thought it was very good, quite honestly. Yeah. It was not up to the standard of their previous releases, in my opinion.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
And as I saw Ronnie Barnett say when Steve Schnee mentioned it a few days ago on Facebook, would have been nice if they would have changed the cover. That's just big close-up of a lion roaring. I was like, what does that have to do with anything?
Hey, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, we had a great time. Nice to see you as always. It really is. She's one of my favorite people.
Yeah. But that is anticipated by a lot of folks, definitely.
Yeah, indeed. And I guess Record Store Day comes up the end of November.
Black Friday. That's Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Yeah.
David says it's a grower. I think he didn't mean to text that live to us. He's in a hotel room. I don't know what he's talking about. I think he messed up. He might have been talking to. No, it's not. Let's not go down that road. Boy. But there's a lot of comedy that can be brought out of that text I just got from David.
Yeah.
He hit capital letters. I knew it as soon as he said it. I guess Record Store Day will hold some things. I haven't seen the list yet. I haven't looked at it that closely. I don't know whether I'm getting tired of Record Store Day because it's kind of wearing thin on releases and things, but I don't know. Tim says they found the master tapes and remixed it.
Yeah, it is wearing thin. I mean, the only things I think I'm getting are the couple of Beatles related releases, and there's a Ramones related release as well.
Yeah. Oh.
And since those are my two favorite bands ever, I figured I should probably get those.
Yeah, indeed. How many have you seen the Ramones live?
Yes, several times actually, probably about 3 or 4 times, and always so much fun. Had the pleasure of meeting them once, which was really a trip, because they were exactly like you'd expect them to be like. You know, a lot of people when you meet them, they're different than their persona.
Sure.
The Ramones were exactly like you'd imagine them. Johnny was all business. Joey was kind of shy and awkward. Dee Dee was kind of, hey, everybody, look, just kind of silly and goofy. It was just, they were the way they were, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I saw them a few times in the greater tri-state area here, back in the day, and some of the best shows in just medium-sized venues.
I saw them at the Hollywood Palladium with the Dickies opening for them.
Oh, the Dickies, man. The Dickies, was it the first album with Trisha Toyota? And
that was the second album. Dawn of the Dickies.
Dawn of the Dickies.
With Trisha Toyota.
I'm stuck in a pagoda with Trisha Toyota.
I believe that Cherry Red, or one of their subsidiaries, is re-releasing the Incredible Shrinking Dickies, their first album, on vinyl in January. So
say it again.
Oh, Cherry Red, or one of their subsidiaries, is going to be releasing the Dickies' first album, The Incredible Shrinking Dickies, on vinyl in January. So yeah, I would be on the lookout for that. I'm going to pick one up because
isn't it amazing that we talked about songs that take you right back, but my God, Stuka's Over Disneyland, that album, but that the Dawn of the Dickies, man, I haven't listened to that and I don't know how long, but I can sit here right now and be like, later that night I went for a drive, and I could say I never felt more alive, digging into saxophone Tokyo with Trisha by my side and money to blow. I know that I never want to do let it go.
Yeah.
I can go right back there.
That's it.
Holy cow.
Now, it's funny because I used to watch Trisha Toyota on TV here. She was a newscaster for NBC News here in LA.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So I think while that song came out, she was still on the air. She was huge. But yeah,
man,
it's kind of, and made me wonder who else is going to know who Trisha Toyota is.
Exactly.
But
Tim just put up. He thinks a Partridge Family release would be perfect for a record store day. I wonder if I would say there probably wouldn't be too many outtakes or unreleased Partridge Family things, would there?
Probably not. There was I think 4 CD, 5 CD, 3 CD, several CD set a few years ago of David Cassidy's solo stuff.
Yeah, I got that from my daughter.
I think his Bell Records albums, and there's some really good stuff on there.
But I think because the Partridge Family was your manufactured corporate, they probably came in with the exact songs they were going to exactly put on the album, and it was done by all the backing musicians and things, and I don't think there'd be much leftovers, let's say.
That's why you don't see many Archie's and much Archie's stuff that wasn't released. Probably wasn't any.
David says, Tim, a Partridge Family box with all the songs on the TV show. And I have to open this back up. Which didn't make the albums, lots of tracks. So there is a Partridge Family box with all the songs on the TV show which didn't make the album. So
it's not a lunchbox, is it?
Is it a lunchbox, David?
Should be.
So there are songs that were on this TV show but didn't make any of the albums that are on the Partridge Family box. I don't even know I don't know that existed, but leave it up to no, they're all okay. So David's saying there should be a Partridge Family, but there isn't. Sorry, Tim, if we got you excited there.
I thought
there's been no vinyl Partridge Family release in 50 years. That might be an interesting record store day release of something,
when that stuff comes back around, and stuff always comes back around.
Yeah.
Someone will release it.
It didn't Burt back around right for them?
I think it's just the problem that, people don't have the rights to a lot of this stuff. They like to re-release things, but they just can't get the rights. I know there's several, can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know there are several, power pop records that, I'd love to see released on vinyl. Like I was listening to some Adam Schmidt last night. None of his 3 records are available on vinyl.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they ever will be, and he hasn't done anything in almost 25 years. So who knows? But
what did I see? What did I could be dreaming this, but I thought I read somewhere that the Merrymakers were coming out on vinyl. But I could be wrong. David might know, but
oh wow.
I thought maybe I read that somewhere.
That would be amazing. That's
that would be something, yeah. But
that would be something as Paul McCartney from the 1970 McCartney album.
Yeah, we can talk about Back to the Egg later too. So,
don't even get me started.
I know.
Love it. You know what I listened to last night, Mark? And this is, and we're going to go another hour and a half now, so I can tell you about my love for Back to the Egg. But there's that medley on there, Winter Rose and Love Awake.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought Winter Rose was crap because of the way he sang it. He sang it in this really rough sort of voice for some reason. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing, Paul? This sounds stupid, but you're Paul McCartney, so no one's going to tell you it sounds stupid. You just
right.
But that song, Love Awake, if he just would have recorded that on his own, on its own, Oh my God, it's beautiful. I mean, just a beautiful, beautiful song. And there's a version that popped up on my YouTube channel last night of the demo of that song in its entirety, about 2 minutes 45 seconds long.
Oh, wow.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
David said he hasn't heard of a Merrymakers vinyl. I hope there is. I don't know why that's in my head. He also agrees with you on what you just said, John.
Yeah, Love Awake is just beautiful.
And knowing your intimate knowledge of all things Beatles, what was the cover of Back to the Egg all about?
I don't know if there was anything to it other than probably, Paul and Linda getting stoned with the rest of the band saying, let's have a spaceship. I don't know. Because that was the whole theme of, there was a half-hour TV show that was done at the time with them doing the videos, and they were in an airport hangar, and then they kind of had the whole space theme. I guess that was just that was Paul's new wave record. So he was trying to be new wave and cutting edge. And but I think it's a really good record. About the cover. People poo-poo a lot of that stuff on there, like, oh, that Rockestra stuff is dumb. I think it's good. I like it. Yeah. I think So Glad to See You Here is a great song. I mean, it's not his best song, but it's a good song.
And again, stuff pops in and out of my head all the time as I'm walking my dog and listening to things or singing at the top of my lungs to nothing. But would it interest you? I think it would interest a lot of people. But if McCartney, instead of going out as McCartney and doing his canon of solo, but if he ever went out on tour, and I know it's getting late in the years, as just Wings and doing nothing but Wings material.
Oh, of course.
Would that be cool? How cool would that be?
Yes. I mean, It's funny. I saw him in 2005 at the Staples Center in LA. Got a last minute ticket, 2 tickets, and took Mike Simmons with me. And he started out the concert by playing Too Many People from the Ram album.
Yeah.
And he introduced it by saying, and this one's for all the Wings fans out there. I'm like, that wasn't a Wings song, Paul.
It wasn't a Wings song.
But everybody went nuts when he said Wings. I mean, that's just, I mean, yes, that would be something.
Well, I mean, there's so many great Wings tracks. There's plenty of Wings material to fill up, 2 hours if you wanted to do something like that. But a lot of that will never get played live, obviously, with everything else he's got to cover. But I don't know what I was thinking about that the other day. I was just like, what if he came out and just did, do a tour, Paul McCartney and Wings, and just does Wings stuff?
Oh,
I don't think people would be disappointed that there was no Beatles stuff involved at all. I think his fans would come out and pack the stadiums just to hear a complete 2 hours worth of Wings.
Well, let's be honest. He could just go out there for an hour and a half and fart, and people would show up. I mean, at this point, just the fact that he's even going out there on stage is amazing. And, it's a great idea, but it'll never happen. At this point in his life, he wants to do the stuff that, he's probably too old to basically learn or relearn a whole new
which is what he would have to do.
That he probably never played most of them live.
Yeah. No, he'd have to relearn.
Yeah, he'd have to relearn a lot of the stuff. I mean,
David said, unfortunately, Jimmy won't be able to take us down. Yeah.
Yeah, not much of London Town was ever played live. Not much.
It's interesting. It's interesting. Interesting concept though, because he's. How many other artists can you say that were in a huge band like the Beatles, and then backed it up with being in a huge band like Wings, and then backed it up with being huge solo for as long as he has? It's he's got really 3 different careers to draw from.
No, I know. It's he could do something where it's like, just deep cuts, for example. Things you wouldn't like. I thought too many people really at that point in 2005, that was pretty deep cut.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought? I wouldn't have thought he was going to open his show with it, for sure. But there's so much stuff he could do, and it's just like, playing in this Beatles band. There's so many deeper Beatles cuts that we're an all request band.
Mhm.
So people will be dumb and try to like play Helter Skelter, which we do. That's fine. But I don't know.
It's almost tough. It's almost tough to have a Beatles deep cut anymore. I mean, I don't know that there's anything that even could be considered a deep cut.
Well, it's funny because we were playing a show. I think it was my birthday a couple years ago. We're playing a show in Fountain Valley here at a place called Silky Sullivan's, which is sort of a Cheers type pub. It's going to be closing soon, sadly. But David was there with a couple of other people sitting, and we played Hey Bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody in the band introduced it as a deep cut. And I'm like, well, and David's like, well, that's not a deep cut. I said, for you and me, it's not.
Yeah.
But for the average person who knows I Saw Her Standing There and Let It Be and all the other songs that Paul performs in concert, the Beatles songs, it is a deep cut. They've never heard Hey Bulldog or don't know that they've heard it.
Yeah. Well, in that scenario, I think maybe what I was thinking, like if Paul's out on concert, everybody in that stadium probably would not consider much anything a deep cut. I mean, he could come out and play When I Get Home, and most people would be like, "Now that's a deep cut," because.
Oh yeah.
But to a Beatles fan, I can sing along that entire lyric. It's
yeah.
But yeah, if you're out there playing in your cover band, I could see a song like that being like, what, this is a Beatles song,
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting too that we get people of all ages just requesting stuff. There's a little, I think he's 3-year-old kid who comes to a lot of our shows. His name is Oliver, and he comes with his sunglasses on. He's got a little blow up guitar that he pretends to strum. And he tells his mom and dad what Beatles songs he wants to hear. Yes, Tim, you're right.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
It's so deep it should be buried. Also, the only song that was ever officially released, I think, that was written by all 4 Beatles or credited to all 4 Beatles was Fly.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But Oliver requests all these songs, and you would think, oh, he's going to know Yellow Submarine, right? Of course, that's the ones that kids know. He requests stuff like Hello Goodbye and like different stuff, and the kid's 3.
It's pretty awesome.
So obviously, he's a product of good parenting.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Yeah, pretty awesome.
But we've got 80-year-old people. We've got a woman who was there last week saying, "Thank you so much for playing all these songs today. This is my father's wake that we're holding here today." And I'm like, wow. It's just amazing. We played a gig once, and the stage was really close to the bar. And every time we would break into a song, this young lady would start crying. And I'm thinking, something's going on, or we really suck. I don't know. So during the break, I went up and asked her. I said, I noticed you. I hope you're having a good time. I noticed you've been kind of, a little upset. And she goes, yeah, my dad loved the Beatles, and every time you play these songs, it reminds me of him. So every time you start a new one, it makes me think of my dad.
Wow.
But usually those are happy memories, and so that's why it's so cool to play this music. That I always tell people it's the best music ever. It really is.
It definitely is. I mean, I was sorry about laughing there a little bit, but David checked in with a comment when you were talking about Oliver, and he said, "Is that Oliver kid Robbie Wrist?"
No.
Because he's been acting like a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Sorry, Robbie. I mean, if you're watching, but it was kind of silly, but I had to mention it, which is good.
Funny.
But it's funny. It's all we take it all in good stride. It's good, but
it's well, an old girlfriend of Robbie's once told me, Robbie actually loves the Beatles. He's just doing all this crap for effect. And I said, oh, I know. Mm-hmm. I said, I've known Rob for 25, 26 years. And we've gotten along so well because I really don't listen to about 75% of what he says. He probably said the
It's
same
good.
thing about me. So you know,
Probably about all of us, but I think that's also the beauty of all the friends that we've made over all these years through music and whatnot involved is
yeah.
I don't know, we tend to have a thicker skin with each of us because we know it's never really a personal attack or it's
Oh,
nothing
sure.
personal. We have
Right.
and
Well,
we get over things and we move on and we laugh about it and say yeah whatever and
well,
um a
yeah.
lot.
Now when Robbie talks down the Beatles, I just ignore him. I mean, it's just kind of like, yeah, I've seen this movie. I don't really need to watch it again. And yeah, okay, you know,
I
whatever.
was just in talking about Wings and Beatles and McCartney, all that kind of stuff. Just the last couple of days, I've listened to Helen Wheels and I've listened to Junior's Farm. I think some of that stuff really freaking rocks,
Oh,
and
yes,
saw the
yes.
video. I was watching the video on YouTube of Helen Wheels and um, just when them in the car when they get that chorus, and I love that chorus.
Oh yeah,
Helen, Helen, Helen Wheel. It's just great. If you can't drive fast with that song playing, then you shouldn't be driving.
right.
You
And
know?
it sort of has that double meaning. Helen
Yep,
wheels, hell on wheels. You know, so he
that's genius. That's
kind of says
genius
that
at
at
the
the end of the
time.
chorus. But yeah, Junior's Farm is my favorite solo McCartney song,
Yeah,
hands
yeah,
down. Always has been. Love it, love it.
yep.
So
Great track.
so much going on there. It's a great song.
And I was going to mention, way earlier in the show, which we've been on now for like 7 hours, which has been great.
It's now the Material Issues Marathon.
It is.
Please
We're
and
having
pledge your dollars to
yeah.
have
We should
David
have
get some
like
treatment for his back. We're
we should have a
we're doing
muscular
GoFundMe.
dystrophy telethon. You know what a great driving song is? Straight Lines. Are you
Yeah.
talking a new music track there, David? Was that new music? But no, we were talking earlier about my love of lyrics and things, and I'll tell you, for about the last 5 or 6 days, almost a week now, every day I've been listening to Harry Nilsson, his entire catalog. You know what a great driving song is? Yes. Oh no, yes. As an answer, I just lost John Borak again. You back, John? Not yet. So yeah, David was talking Straight Lines by New Music. Another great driving song. Straight lines, moving around in straight lines. Well, anyhow, John Borak may be back here. There he is. Let's
So
add
you
him
were
to the
saying
stage.
you were listening to Harry Nielsen. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Harry. I mean, he's one of those artists that I go for a long period of time not listening to
Mm-hmm.
or hearing anything except Without You or some of the bigger stuff he's known for.
Right.
But man, I don't, for whatever reason, about a week ago, I just went on Spotify and just started with his first album, and I've been listening to it kind of in constant rotation. Just love his lyric writing.
Is that was that Pandemonium Shadow Show? Was that the first album?
Is that the first? I believe so. Yes.
Down for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a great songwriter and also a very unique songwriter. I think that was part of his greatness, is that a lot of people have tried to sound like him and tried to do what he does, but no one's really been able to do that. A lot of great singers and songwriters, but no one that quite has that sort of whimsical, I don't know, that whimsical alcoholic feel.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird mixture, but
yeah. Pandemonium Shadow Show was his second album. Spotlight on Nilsson was the first one. But all the way up to there was I was listening to a best of, but all the way up to 1976, but That's the Way It Is, Nilsson in 77, Flash Harry in 80.
yeah.
There's I mean, he got into some more polished and produced stuff, but the early stuff, man, just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Great lyric writer. And that's been my kick. I get on kicks, where I have to listen to everything by somebody for something. I like to start at the first album and take it all the way through to the last just to see the growth and hear the progression,
Play him start to finish. Yeah.
Start to finish. And I don't know. Yeah. I just get into that kind of a thing, and that's what I got to do.
Cool.
But that's good. Well, John, we've been yakking for an hour and 45 minutes, which we're approaching our record of 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think was what David and that record has been on this.
Wow. Well,
Spotlight on Nilsson was a cash in by Tower Records after he was successful, not his first album. Okay,
yeah. Spotlight on Nilsson was a collection of a lot of the demos and stuff that he did, and the early singles that really didn't go anywhere.
But yeah, awesome. Well, John, let's. I'm going to take Ches out for a walk in the freezing degree temperatures out here. But I appreciate you hanging out with us here on Material Issues. Yeah, Tim. Yeah, Lottery Song, the sweetest songs ever written. I agree. Great song.
Yeah.
But yeah, appreciate you, John. Appreciate your time. It was a great time, and you did get a total of 7 points on Stump the Borak. David was not stumped with 16, and Tim Allen. Well, you tied Tim Allen tonight, so
well, there you go.
David's saying a big thank you, John, for hanging out.
Anytime. Always glad to help.
But we do appreciate it. Next Wednesday, Ron Flint and Steve Allen of 2020. Then we have a week there in Thanksgiving with nobody booked yet for David and I. And then December 4th should be Rick Corcoran of the Oregon Box. After that, we got a lot of irons in the fire. Who knows what our big holiday special might be? I don't know. But we are approaching, thank you, Tim. We are approaching our 200th episode. We'll try to figure out something interesting to do with that as well. But, John, thanks again for hanging out. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your evening out there on the West Coast. We will talk and see you soon. Best of luck again with the Armoires and the new album. Love it. If you haven't checked out, it's got to be available at Big Stir, bigstirrecords.com, I believe it's bigstirrecords.com. Amazon, all the usual places you can find it. That's the Armoires, ARMOIRES. For everybody watching. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great night, John. David Bash, feel better. Get that cortisone shot. Hopefully you can make it to IPO Toronto. But keep us updated if not.
I hope you feel better, David. Thanks, Mark, for having me. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Here we go, everybody. Ending it. We'll see you next week here on Material Issues.